Okay, good afternoon for all you people. Today's coming up on the January the 24th, in the end of the afternoon here, and just wanted to take a minute and say, wow, we passed the 2 million mark on views on the Grande Pacific, or my YouTube channel. Thanks to everybody who watched. Whether it be the majority of it model trains, some of you in the cruise addiction world, and a few now with the granddaughters CBC Cougars. Don't know how much longer the CBC Cougars are going to go on, but we're going to have a place for them on the YouTube channel. That's what you do when you have granddaughters. You take care of them. Okay. So anyway, thanks again, and we also have reached over 7,000 subscribers. This is just a little over, well, right around 7 years. So again, thanks for the 2 million views and 7,000 subscribers. So we're going to take a little ride around here. Not a whole lot's changed too much recently on the Grande Pacific boat. Let's go take a look. So here we come up here past this big mountain range. Use your imagination now. You know, I haven't carved the styrofoam. Okay. And we've got our little coal cars here because we're really doing something here. Been some people out here playing with trains, and the coal trains are ones in my system that they're not in the operating system. So we're going to stop here for a second. So they've been playing and they're all messed up, and we're going to straighten them out. So this being the Door River Bridge here, so we even have it so named. Affectionate name here. Concepts here, we're going to put some things on it, and we'll create an illusion of a bridge here. Going to do some things at the Rio Grande to justify its existence hanging over the door. And of course we're up here at the Love Pass, and I don't think we have any cattle cars back there today, but should be some at the cattle ranch. So what can I say? I'll have to get some up there. One thing about the railroad and the way we've designed it is try to get some run distance. So coming up out of Rocky Loop, this is called, you end up with some, you can get some good long trains if you want to run some long trains. So here we are with the whole set of full, these are the loaded coal cars. Okay, so here we are at Love Pass here. We've stopped here on the main waiting for a train to clear, and now we're moving forward again. And the Love Pass tunnel back there. In this railroad's operation for the branch line, the Love Pass tunnel route back there goes to the Circle R Ranch. And it allows you to make a runaround using the siding on the main. Now we have the trestle here, which is passing over our road, standard gauge, and of course the narrow gauge track, which leads off into the tunnels there. The trains head off into tunnel 27 through the Flatiron section. track below is the narrow gauge, and it's actually in another world. Okay. Alright, so here we are headed up past the Rollins branch line up to the Rollins Pass in some area which we need to do some scenery work. Again, the narrow gauge comes off right up here, and we have plans for that to include putting narrow gauge track up here and a switch coming off here, and then we're going to put a dump right there for the narrow gauge cars, and they will dump into standard gauge hoppers. So anyway, our train continues on up here to the Rollins Pass tunnel. It's going over an area right now which we're going to have a big ravine, and there'll be some trestle back into there. We quite haven't figured that one out yet. Well, through the magic of video, our train has decided that the Rollins Pass was closed today because of snowfall. So we've taken the branch line. This is better known on this railroad as the Rollins branch line. This is a place called Grizzly. Got a little oil well producing here and a maintenance stop. And we have the water tanks for the maintained for the steam excursions. And then of course we come by and pass old Dave's coal company here. Dave's kind of cheap, so the trucks dump into the hoppers, and then we use rope pulls to pull the cars up. He can't afford to have the engine come by and do the switching for him every day, so they use the little rope pull devices. And then of course we come up here past True Cut Lumber Company. This is the only runaround, siding and runaround up here on Rollins Branch. And of course we passed by the cargo grain operation. Now the cargo grain operation, this is the ammonia plant for the farmers. We grow ammonia, nitrous oxide, nitrous ammonia bleach is what they use. And of course the unloading of the cars, they are loading, and we put in a yard right up here It holds 26 cars for the grain elevator. And then we, of course, elevated the back so you could see what's going on back there. And grain fields out here, and kind of like what I saw in Nebraska. Well, in this area we have the gasoline loading from the refinery. This is fuelish loading for gas. And we have our tank cars, and then train comes up over the Rollins Branch Bridge over the Colorado River on this side. And the main line's in the back, and the Colorado River flows out of the mountains there. And it comes out here. And we'll get back mysteriously back up there on the main line shortly through the miracles of photography. Okay. So anyway, we come past a little industry here, spur, for some of the pulpwood operations that are going on in this area, appropriately named Green Tree, because all the wood's green. Okay, anyway, you get the idea. So here we come across the Colorado River again. Gee, it just flows right across the aisle here. Yeah, you got to be careful. And of course, the main line in the back again, and you can see the, got water in the river. That's 2-part epoxy using Virotex light. So you get your thing. And that's Walter's Bridge Kit stuff, modified in various parts, some micro-engineering bridges. Some 1x4s turned, cut, and painted, and some pieces of balsa wood, and just all kind of parts and pieces to make up the Rollins Branch line. Kind of looking back here where we've been, the Rollins Branch line, the main line, and then we come over the other trestle in the main line, and we come over here into the peninsula along the wall to the refinery area, the chemical part, the ethanol unloading, the gasoline loading, chemical. We're going to have plastic pellets. That can be seen right there in the building. It's not put together. And we have also we load LP gas here. So just all kind of things you can do with tank cars, all kinds of things. So you come back around and you come into Rollins Branch. It's got to have a place to work from, and then we come past West Summit up at the top, and then this is Rollins. Tollen. Tollen and the Tollen Yard, and the area up above is known as West Summit. Now, this is Tollen Yard. It's there for the local that's built out of here yard, and we have manifest freights that come through and pick up and drop off. And actually 2 locals run out of here, line, and then the local that goes up here to West Summit. You see a lot of the area back here, and I don't know if there's going to be that much more industry back along the back wall or not. Maybe it's just scenery. But anyway, the part up top. Now, this is my site level. When I was building this railroad, this is one of the first areas that got built, and I realized real quick, because it was all flat, all the way back. That if I stood here, my trains went by on the main line, which is right there. And you got to realize at that time it was down at the same level as the tracks in front. The only thing I saw go by was the horns on the top of the engine. That's not going to do for all the model railroad people. They want to see their trains. So we stopped, took up what we had, redid it, and we raised the back up. So how difficult is it to take, this is a cookie cutter railroad, it's 15, 30-second plywood, for 5-ply, 15, 30-second plywood right there across it. It's 18 inches deep. So how difficult is it to fix this? It's not difficult at all. You just add a piece of 1x2 up on top of the piece coming across, and you have a section in the back that's raised up with the plywood 2 inches. So you end up with a nice elevation back there. So when your train goes by, you can see it. We'll show you that in just a few minutes. So this is Tollen Yard. Nice kill switches and all that good stuff. And the reason you see the switches remote up here at the top is because you can't see the points. The top is 60 inches. And most of us in this world are vertically challenged under 60 inches. So I have to be able to have the place for the operators to see the switch, the lights. So in that case, I just give them a switch to throw the light, so it'll change the switch back there and they know that it's been changed. Okay, I'm not going to go into the whole NCE system on this tape and how it's integrated with JMRI and the panels on the computer. I throw the switches on the main line on this railroad through the NCE system. Okay, so this is the end of the yard here. And if you were coming through and dropping off and pick up freight, you would come out the yard here. This team track down here. And you would continue on straight right through that tunnel down there. You see the tunnel? Yeah, okay, well, it's not here yet. And you would go down the Helix. Well, time out. We're going to go do something else. Be back in a minute. One part about layout design before I go back over here. This little piece of track from right there, coming around here to this switch right here, does one purpose on this railroad. It makes the top a continuous loop. When I have guests over here and they want to see the trains run and run continuously, I can do that at the second and third level. Can't do it on the bottom because it requires certain reverse switches to be thrown. So there it is. I haven't set those up so they'll trigger themselves yet. Well, anyway, enough of that. Wow, here's our train back on the main line. And we're going over the single truss Walters Bridge, for those who want to know. And we come up here on the other side of the Colorado River, and we cross our other Walters single truss bridge. We'll not mention the manufacturer of the two bridges on either side. Let's just say one time they were out there, and I have no mercy for those people, so we don't give them any plugs. Anyway, so this our big long train heads on down here, and it's going through West Summit, and it's headed to East Summit, and the flood loader's down at the other end. Okay. So back here at Tollen with the train at the on the main, I think you see the point here about visibility. Got to think about things, people, because you know when you build a railroad now, I know a lot of people aren't going to get anywhere near this big, but think about why you're doing it and what you want to get out of it, and not seeing the engines and looking at them in funny ways. I don't think most. Okay, so looking down or back up west, this is West Summit. Now, my normal trains are 1,300 feet long as far as scale feet. This train exceeds it, so it can't go in the sidings anywhere on this railroad. Length of the train is usually the length of the shortest siding. In this case, we have some nice long runs. So now the train is headed towards Apex. It's the next stop on the railroad. And it has a very long journey to get to Apex. It's pretty substantial run. In model railroad world, that means it's going into Helix, and you're not going to see it for a minute or two. Okay. Again, that will be a tunnel, and this is two different directions. If we were coming up the other track, we would be coming up eastbound and going down west. So in this case, we're going the other way. We're going down east, headed this way. So anyway, this is the Helix. 9.5 turns, 36 on the outside, 33 on the inside. You're looking at right at 11 feet across here, a little more actually. And yes, there is enough space in the back of this along the back wall that I can stand up back there. Lessons learned from a previous layout. So, and yes, there is a track, as you can see, that goes all the way around the back and comes out over here that allows me to run it in a continuous loop. So, off the back of the Helix is a switch, which you got to be real careful with, that comes out in the office or workroom, and this is the RIP track, program track, so on and so forth. So you can bring your trains out here and put them in if they need to be worked on, cleaned, whatever. So there it is. Backups of the Grande Pacific YouTube channel. Not one, but two. Okay, so as all things go in the shooting of the video, we had planned on showing you how we keep track of this once it's all closed in. And we went over to take a picture of the monitor of the screen right here. It shows the Helix in it that's driven by that device right there, which is connected to all the cameras, which are right there. And guess what's not working? Oh well, the Samsung security system, DVR, has malfunctioned. Well, that's what happens in the big world when you get involved in all the electronics. Some of them fail. So right now, as far as seeing the Helix, it's still open. you know, like I keep saying in all my videos, don't get in a rush, people. You never know. So now remember, we started on this, this railroad, really, the railroad started construction in about October 2008. So going back a little ways here. Okay. Enough of the fun. Okay. So anyway, what you're doing is we're coming down from Tollen. That was the last place on the railroad, and we're headed towards Apex, and we're going east. As I've said, now you won't be able to see the Helix once I get this done. And we have such neat places like the Ready Mix Cement plants here, dependable auto distributors, the Pillsbury plant. We have a alcoholic beverage distributor here. It's interesting, a friend of mine, that's a building he put together and I ended up with it. And it did have the old Walters kit over there. So that's getting ready to go to a train show and sell it. So it comes out the tunnel, and here comes our little famous coal train. Now, as I said, the other tracks will loop around the around the back there, so you can do it, make a continuous run. Now we have all these industries that have to be serviced, and there is a local that works out of the yard down here. Now, again, let's make a point here. By the way, you're now looking at 40 inches off the floor, okay? That's 40 inches. Let's look over here. Now you see the tracks in the back, and we got some elevation going up and just separated. So those back there are hundreds of miles from here. Maybe 1,000, who knows? Anyway, hundreds of miles apart, okay? It's two different worlds. And here's the famous Apex freight station, and of course, unfortunately, these are parts that come off of engines. The three water towers, we just got to paint them, weather them, and find homes for them. Okay, it's like all railroads, parking place right at the moment. Interesting, create a problem. So this switch here is going the wrong way. So whoever's got to switch this, that's a dead-end track down there. So you have to work it from down there. So you better have your engine in the right place to get that siding. And I don't want to tell you that we make everything easy here. So this is Apex. Name was gotten from very, very excellent modeler in Houston, Texas, Mr. Gil Freitag. Apex is a place on his railroad, and I couldn't think of anywhere fitting to copy the name and use it on mine as a memory of some inspiration I got when I first got into building this layout. And Gil's still with us, still in there, and the railroad's still running. So if you get a chance to see his railroad in Houston, Stony Creek and Western, well worth it. I have a video of it on my YouTube channel. Okay, so anyway, this is Apex Yard. Apex Yard comes in here, and the track, and we'll be talking about this again. This track right here in the back is another railroad. That's the Apex and Silverville operation. They take care of it, the Apex Industrial, and they run back and forth between Apex and Silverville via the branch line. There's the engines for the Apex and Silverville, and the train that works there, for all you modeler persons, is built out of this yard, or it's built out of Silverville. It works both ways, so depends on which yard's got the best looking set of cars and how it comes out when you make a test build. That's what happens. Busy town here. Good operating session. We'll have 2 people working there. Somebody running the locals, and then the guy that takes care of getting the cars and everything ready and getting ready for all the things. Another part of Apex Industrial thing, this is not, as you can see, most of this needs to be detailed and worked out. But you got to come in here and switch all these industries out as part of the local. And this is the world famous stuff. Well, was going to be Bro Petroleum, but we're going to get around to that. And create a road that comes out here into the middle of the highway. I'm standing in the middle of the highway. And then we come across the, I don't know, I think we were looking for a name for this creek or river or whatever. It's not the Colorado River. Colorado River is up here. Okay, got to have another river named here. So, maybe the Arkansas. Nope, that's on the other side of the mountain divide. Now we come to an area which is known as No Name City. This is one of the No Name City warehouses. Don't know which one's going to end up here. We got 2. And this one's a very nice one. Santa Fe type building. Modeled. Another one done by Mr. Bro. And this is the New River Freight House. He still got the old name on it from what it was on. He put together. But I don't know. Anyway, this is a freight house for the No Name City. And again, you see this separation here. This is the main line here on the railroad. This is Apex Industrial. All this along here is Apex Industrial, and that's the main line on the industrial branch line. Okay, so you know, we'll kind of come back to this in a second. I'll cover it, but let's do the main line here. We come along here, and by the way, these were all car card boxes. We started out with car cards. Don't use them anymore. JMRI operations. So we just knocked the pieces out in the middle because they still come in handy to hold the clipboards. We stand the clipboards in them, and of course all the other pencils, clips, racers, track cleaners and stuff you need on the railroad go in them, i.e. so forth. That little piece of wood holds the clipboard from being so close to the track. Alright, now this is No Name City. This was a went in one afternoon, walked inside, and the wife was running the movie with Coburn and can't remember the other gentleman. Anyway, and it's about the gold mine and the town with caves in. Well, as they run out the town, as everything caves in, and they're running down underneath the sign, the name of the city in the movie was No Name City. So that's where it came from. We put it in for one simple reason. Big long run straight track, and we got a lot of that around this railroad. You tend to got to try to break things up a little bit, so we went in. Now, the town of No Name is out here. It's in the middle of the say bridge comes up. We get that all thing with the stripes and the crossings and so forth. Then this is the town of No Name City. Young lady's been sitting there for, what, 8 years now? Wow, okay. Maybe we ought to get some passenger service on this railroad. Anyway, okay. So anyway, we come on down here, and this is No Name City, and of course the No Name City passing siding. And we have a team track down here, and a depot track by the depot. That's one thing about all the depots have depot tracks, and the 40-foot cars with the roof walks on it that we found in that tunnel that was abandoned, well, was closed up. We put them back in service, and they're restricted to the railroad, like I said before, and we provide LCL services to our customers, and we just had these cars available, so that's where they get thrown in. They also haul all our recycling materials to the recycling plant. And that's the beauty part about the JMR operation system. The cars are restricted as to where they go. They strictly show up at the depots, the recycling plant, and into a couple of yards. Otherwise, you know, that's it. Now, we keep on going, and we leave the no-name city part, and we head on over the into tunnel 25, or and the train's headed to the next stop on the railroad, which will be Silverville. Now, the area back here is Apex Industrial. This is designed strictly for one thing only: switching. Hadn't been finalized. All this track, none of it's soldered together, and none of it's ballasted. This is the third layout on it as far as where things are, and at some point in time we'll finalize it. Like the gravel pit here is finalized, but we still need to go back there and put a pit in and put the conveyors parts in and do all the scenic work. And the Burns Wright Match Company is going to be here. That may not be the building. So, you know, there's Burns Wright Match Companies on all the railroads down in this part of the world. And of course, don't forget our motto: we put a flame in your life. Of course, we have the Champion Packing Company. That's a tight fit here, but it works. And then the Acme Produce. That plastic plant goes upstairs, and then of course the Federal Cold Storage. If you go to the video about kit bashing I did on all my buildings, all these buildings are explained in detail. Move them around, you can see them. And of course, this is the complete Walters ethanol plant. The only thing left to do here is the stairs and stuff on this building, and that is been sitting there for I think 4 years. So anyway, we need to get it done, finish it. I need to take the parts, paint them, put it together, and finish it, because we have all the rest of the parts. The only thing is they're missing a lot of piping and stuff that is going to need to go in here. But there it is. And then of course the branch line has its own way to go. Now the big scene, which was the last piece of big scenery we did on the railroad, got from someone else, the idea and the concept. I'm sure a lot of model railroads, to make an end of the orb scene, you got to come up with something, and I'm sure this is not the only one that's done like this, but you know, we got to have the big trestles. The interesting part about this is the Denver Rio Grande in Colorado never had anything like this. There's a couple of big trestles on some other lines, actually one right up there at 70, but and I'm not aware of it. There's a couple of trestles, but not like this. Cumberson Toolsec's got a nice trestle on it, but it's straight lined, and it's nothing to this degree. But anyway, this was all done. This is all styrofoam. That's micro-engineering bridge track and micro-engineering vents and so forth. And they were all built by someone else for a gentleman named Lee Heil on another railroad that since doesn't exist anymore. And of course we come back here, and the next stop is Silverville. Okay, so Silverville's another town on the railroad. And as I said, this railroad was created when the Union Pacific, back in the 80s, when the Union Pacific was broken up by the FRA. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So, you know. Anyway, the tunnel for the branch line coming around. We have a tunnel there, but it's really there for the purpose of having space to drill cars. The first track here ends up as being the track for a little industry. It's going to go over there called Trent's Sand and Gravel. Name's Trent, okay? And the center track's the drill track to work these industries along here. And then, of course, the third track, we have for a couple of businesses. You got to have space to get to get the cars out. So we had room, so we just put the tunnel in there, and that goes back in there about 2 feet. The Industries, again, the local comes out of the Silverville yard, and it services the various industries and comes back. And again, this is all about operations here. We have not finished the engine facility here. We have a little engine facility in service, but again, as you can see by the Plywood Pacific, we haven't gotten that area worked on. Now, all the painting again on the backdrops, I did all the painting. Never touched a paintbrush before 1999, so if I can do something, you can do it too. I talk about that in a lot of the videos, how to do it. The world famous building here is, this was East Sideham, then something else, and then Alpine Models, still, believe it or not, still available as far as I know. Mr. Jim Laughlin put that one kit together for me. Not going to say anything about it, but if you can catch it, you'll know something about the kit, then you can catch the, let's say, kit-bashed approach he took. So we come on down here, we have the Coors Beer Company and the food, Conco Food Distributors and Hard Rocker Furniture Company, and then of course a little company that's here in our area, Trackworks. They do all the railroad work in the industries around here and maintaining all the stuff that's off of the main lines of the railroad, because the railroads don't take care of it anymore, the industries do, so that company makes a living doing that. The interesting thing about Trackworks is they have no rails, they're not located on a rail line, so they have to get everything by truck. Makes life interesting. Okay. So this is Silverville, another place for an operator. Get manifest freights and so forth. Silverville comes over here. We have a team track, and we're going to have cattle pens over here for the cattle cars. Got to feed the thing. Yeah, we still run cattle cars. Okay, another story. We got to take care of the farmers up in the hills, you know. All right. Then we have intermodal here, and create some interesting track work. Okay. Now, again, separation. Track where the train is hundreds of miles from the track behind it. All right, we're going to go this way. Won't get the track behind it right at the moment. Now we're coming into the operations for the New River Mine. And this is really where we're headed. But we're going to go on through here a little bit, past here to the place up above. Now I'm going to run the train up here, and we'll go up there. But what we're going to do is I'm going to come back, and this will be part of the video, but I need to put the fulls here for the operating session coming up, and put the empties down at the bottom. So that's kind of what we're doing here, double purpose. You can see all the empty cars are in here at the New River Mine. All set up to operate on off the main, so we can get trains by here while the all set up to be done while the operators work in the mine and so forth. Now we're going to swing around through here. Okay, here's another issue with model railroading. When you're going to run passenger trains on your railroad, and you really, and some other things, types of locomotives and cars, 36 inches is really where you need to be. Yes, you can go with shorter radiuses, but unless you're just running two axle engines and freight cars, you're going to start having troubles. So 36 inches on this freight, what you're looking at is a turnaround on the end on the railroad. You're looking at 76 inches across here, which takes up a lot of space. You see a lot of people go back in a circle like this, and they will put a turntable or something in there. Okay, and my rule again, if I put something back there, I'm violating my rules. It's outside the 30-inch rule. 30 inches is it. Can't reach past 30 inches. My arms are not any longer. So we just blocked it all off and we made a mountain out of it. I can get in there and stand up, go underneath, and there's a hatch in there. There's an opening in the middle of that, stand up. So far, that in 8 years has never, ever been an issue. Can't say that about the Helix, but that place is not. Then you come out the tunnel, and you come out of the New River Mine area, which the ADM elevator is also in, and you come to the Hoffa cement plant. We keep your feet in concrete. And then the Peak Paper Mill, which is a combination of a lot of different buildings here. And that one in the front that unloads the chips created out of model builders. And then this is the town of Rockridge. Okay. I call this ex-employer row here. Work for those people, work for these people, work for these people. Anyway. And they all had rail service, so at one point in time, so we kind of made that employ some of my employers over the years. Anyway, the train's going through Rockridge, and this is the Rockridge station. Okay. About half of you watching this video are going to know real quick where the name Rockridge came from. If you don't know, you need to go get an uncut version of Blazing Saddles. Okay, when you stop laughing, you pick yourself off the floor after you watch the movie, you'll understand why the town of Rockridge. Okay? Just to let you know, the train finally made it to Rockridge. Okay. And of course, all the buildings, it's all designed again. There's an operator comes here, he's got a train he has to bring over here. Runs all the way across the railroad from one of the staging yards, comes in here, he's got to work the town, he's got to work the local, then he's got to take the train back at the end of the session. And we come up here and we come to the Acme Latex Company, home of the Trojans, okay? Kit bashed, bunch of buildings, I'm sure everybody recognizes the buildings. You know, spray paint them. Put some roof details on them, fix them up, you work them in. It really is not something that you can't do. It's very simple, and so forth. Then we're going to creep up here, and at this point we'll give it this will be the end of this as far as where the railroad is in January of 2017. You come up here and you come to the tunnel 22 or 23, and we go through, and this is headed down the hill eastbound, and Colorado Springs. Now, train comes back through here at tunnel 25. Of course, that's 25 over there. It's 24 on this side. Love how you can double up on everything in the railroad. Again, it's track separation. Height is hundreds of miles apart. We come down here and we would keep running to the end, up at the top. We're going to leave the train here. We're going to leave the train there, as I said before. We're going to continue on. You'd come down here through the tunnel. The tunnel is put there to break up the scene here. So when you stand here, you don't see the tracks behind the station. It's designed that way so that because a lot of photo shots get made here. Tracks come on down here, and eastbound comes in through here in the back of this, and it goes back into the Helix, and then it comes out right here. And when you get to this point right here, this is where the operational end of the railroad ends. You're either going one of two places. This side, which is Golden, and this is a yard. In the back is staging, and the front is actually an operational yard, part of the railroad. Long explanation to why that exists. So the back tracks are staged trains, and there's the empties on the SP train. The E8 Black Widow units, we just had them out running around. We'll switch that for the operating session. But they hadn't been running a while, so we have them. And then we have the passenger station. Okay? And that's the UPT for the railroad, Union Passenger Terminal. Interesting. Yeah, you start and end here, okay? And a good point here, you don't need to buy the whole Waltus kit. You just go take a picture of the one at the club, then you take it to Sam, have it blown up, mounted up on styrofoam, and you have your Waltus Union Passenger Terminal. It's flat up against the wall, because down here, that's all we need. Then you come around, and the way this railroad works from the operational standpoint, you go down underneath the piece at the end down there, and you make a loop, which in effect turns the train around. Then you come back. If you're coming to the west side, if you're going westbound, you would end here. This is Junction, the west side of the Rockies. Not Grand Junction, it's Junction. Okay, we changed things a little bit. So there's basically the end of this orb is a reversing loop. So you come back around here. And we have engine storage here, and what of the steam fleet that we operate, it's here. Okay. Interesting clash there. AC 6000 and a big boy. Talk about time warp. Okay. But that's basically the railroad here as far as it goes. And again, the back tracks are stage trains. The front three tracks is actually an operational yard. A lot of trains get built out of this little yard right here. When I run an op session and build all the trains out, almost all the cars right here on this part right in here will be in a train. Basically, the JMRI operational system, if I build out all the trains, about 85 to 90% of the cars on this railroad will move. And there's 560 something cars in the system as part of the movement. The bottom level is 28 inches. Next level is 40 inches. And the top is 60. If I built it again today, the top would be 56. That's just taking one turn off the Helix. We'll drop it down 4 inches. Just didn't really need that much space. You know, for the few little things that get up high, I would have rather had the 4 inches down. Average person you're dealing with is 5'8", so you can't see points on switches up there. That's why you see all the little control panels at that level. Can't say much else at this point. I could talk all afternoon, but this is it. This is the Grande Pacific Model Railroad.